Good evening, and welcome to another thrilling episode of Zooster by Night. This evening, we are following Legate Seth as he is making his rounds to the city on his way back to Zykon Studios, the mailbox, currently his Pax Haven for the time being, as the north end of the city has been somewhat evacuated for reasons that became very apparent at his last outing. Upon arriving, though, it isn't a member of his pack that he sees. Somebody coming up from a set of stairs that he didn't quite realize were there before. What exactly does this stranger look like?
You can see that he has protean claws just out and about. They're long, bear-like claws. He's wearing fatigues, combat boots, um, an army flak jacket, in the fatigue colors, and he's got a duffel bag behind him that he's like hauling around.
Good evening. Is there something I can help you with?
If you want to get your hands dirty, of course. Barring that, not really.
Um, are you putting in a new water line, or?
No, I'm putting in a new war room, something that all the K-Knights of the city can fit in.
One big enough for everybody. I see. Well, I haven't seen Simon in a while, so I could see where that might not have come up in conversation with the rest of my pack. I'm Legate
Well,
Seth.
I'm the Saranga Wolven, and you, sir, can roll versus my, almighty 2 dice of lying. Because there's supposed to
Give
be a
me.
title there.
Oh, and you're purposefully trying not to say the title?
Yes.
Alright, let me just remind myself on.
Woo! Check it out, I got 1 success.
That's my perception subterfuge against your.
Perception empathy versus my
Ooh,
manipulation subterfuge. All of
okay.
my 2 dice.
Alright, well, let's see if my 5 will help me out here. 2 successes.
Yeah, there's supposed
You're
to
hiding
be.
something. You're
Yeah,
hiding
there's
something.
supposed to be some kind of title there. And he didn't give it.
Hmm. Well, Dersanga, what pack do you hail from?
I hail from the Midnight Flame in Atlanta, Georgia.
Uh, I never quite made it that far south along the seaboard with my sire's pack, so forgive me if I am not knowledgeable of such. Are you passing through the city?
I am working through orders of the Cardinal.
Well, I would assume we all are along the coast here. But that is another matter. So you are digging the war room for the Cardinal or for Simon?
If I dig it for the Cardinal, that would also mean that I'm digging it for Simon and for everyone else in the city. Roundabout logic there. But
That is true. I was more curious on whose idea it was.
my own. And Simon agreed with it.
Well, excellent. Good thinking. Because the other war room is much too small for us to get the important members of the city together in.
Let us also not forget that one, just one, beast in that room could tear a whole lot of people apart if someone were to lose themselves.
I don't think it would matter how big the room is, that could happen.
Yes, but if it's big enough, there is time to stake the person.
Well, so I suppose there are more paths than just humanity that is a risk for. Those that have truly forsaken human virtues should be able to redirect the focus of their beast.
This is true. However, refocusing it might require you to attack someone else other than the person that insulted you.
Not
Or a
require,
training dummy.
but could be could be an opportune time for grudges to manifest. Though, to be honest, we did have some expressions of the beast during the Black Mass that we were able to redirect without resorting to staking. So, but again, if you play with dice, eventually you're going to get snake eyes.
The same can be true about boxcars. It just depends on what game you're playing to which is the losing role.
That is true. Not much of a gambler myself. Snake eyes, I know, because that's usually what happens in the movies when people are losing at rolling dice.
Come, follow, I must take this to the sewer. And you see that he's he's not real. It looks like a full duffel bag full of dirt, but he's not even sweating or looking like anything's bothering him, just holding it with one arm.
All right. I kind of look around. I don't see anyone else. Yeah,
Um,
I'll follow.
he just goes out the back door of the mailbox, which I've been told there is a kind of secret back alley that people can come and go through. And then there's a manhole cover, which he uses a claw, lifts, and dumps the dirt in. And when you look in, there's a lot of dirt um, at the bottom of that
You
manhole cover.
you realize that that's going to plug up the sewer pretty quickly, eh?
Perhaps, but I
I
have to
mean, I
dump it
know.
somewhere during the night. Can't just dump it on the street.
Well, if you got it in a duffel bag, it's not that difficult to take it to the bay. Unless we turn on all the taps in the Zykon and the mailbox and just hope enough water will flow through to help it before it clogs up. So I don't think we necessarily want the sanitation department to come along and start doing work right outside of our haven during the middle of the day.
No, but I had plans for the dirt down there. He motions to like sandbags.
All right. Well, as long as you've got a plan and nothing bad happens for it, then I guess it's a good plan.
There might be a need to one day fall back to a defensible location. It's always best to have third and fourth options of where to fall back to. And behind a barricade of sand, somewhere deep in the sewer, is just as good as anything.
That is true. Are you connecting the sewer access, the war room, for such a
No,
fallback eventuality?
Not yet. I will have to figure out how to get around the water main, as well as the sewer lines first, because where we are digging is right near them. So, not exactly the greatest spot, but it'll do for now.
For sure, for sure. So, excuse me. You're in the city at the behest of the cardinal, and you are creating a war room for everybody to be able to assemble in. Is that some hope that perhaps there's an organized plan formulating somewhere to oust the Camarilla infestation before these ants ruin our picnic?
Would that I could tell you the plans that I have overheard, but I cannot because of fell oaths I have sworn.
I wouldn't expect you to repeat the plans that you heard, just as I not necessarily would repeat everything that I hear either. For the good of the sect, secrets must be kept sometimes.
Yes, but you're more than willing, or welcomed rather. Sorry, I messed that up. Word up. To follow me about my nightly things, so long as you follow me not to one place, because it is considered rude to enter someone else's haven.
Yes, that is usually the case, though amongst our kind, I think even you understand that hospitality is kind of assumed.
Yes, hospitality is assumed, but you would have to announce yourself first.
Oh,
That way,
I
if
would.
I were ghouling something, feeding, working on various private matters that don't affect the sect, I could put them away.
No, I would say that rudely intruding or sneakily intruding on somebody else's lair is probably a fast route to monomacy. So I think you don't have to worry too much about that.
I'm not quite sure it would make it that far if someone enters my lair. I take
Seth
my
is
home very
smiling.
seriously.
Well, that's good to know. I
You
don't
can,
get hung
like,
up on possessions myself, but
it's not the possession as more manners should be observed. You have the right, of course, to request to see me at any point in time and to watch what I'm doing, as per the Code of Milan. However,
well,
doing so,
yeah, asking and getting permission are two different things, and I'm pretty confident that if the cardinal wants me to know your business, he will tell me or request that I look on you. Otherwise, I will allow you to go about your nightly activities, digging holes or whatever else you may be doing to help us all.
which brings me to the next thing. I've spoken to your ductus already, Alistair. Good thing about your face, seeing as it is already past Monday night.
Yes, I wasn't sure if that was necessary, but I haven't quite been able to grasp the ability to fake a face, so it seemed like a more expedient way to resolve the issue.
Good. I would have hated to have had to come and repossess it.
Hmm. That would have been kind of sucky.
Yes. For it would have taken many weeks for you to grow it back. if you were allowed to grow it back at all.
Hmm. It'd be interesting to try to go about my daily life with no skin on my face, but not something that I feel the need to indulge in. That's more, actually, more like what Simon would probably do. I'm sure he could educate me if I really felt the need to learn about it.
This is true.
So again, I had heard no official declaration. Is this your suggestion to come and repossess faces?
No, that was an order from someone else. And now I've got to look at my list of things I can and cannot say. I've literally got a list of things that
That's
I can
very
and can't say.
important. It's very important. Probably handy for anybody that gets dominated too. Should have a little list of what their response is to certain questions.
Questions are, because they can't be lies, but they don't have to be all of the truth either.
That's right.
It should be remembered that a bishop declared that anyone who had a face that was seen on the news or in the newspaper should have it changed and offered up his personal time to see it done. That anyone that failed to
I
do so would be losing that face.
the first half of that I remember being announced as a suggestion. I do not recall any caveat placed at the end of that. However, it's a moot point right now. So what is, and what is isn't. So I know you've dealt with Simon, and I know you've dealt with Bratos. So have you crossed paths with Bishop Kashrimi yet?
You see his like eyes like flash red, and you see him like holding something back. That would be Bishop Bratos, please. You could tell that he was
Very well.
very, very angry for a second.
Bishop Bratos, my apologies. Zooster's been fairly informal upon my first arrival, though I notice you don't correct me about Bishop Middlewaith.
That is not my place to correct someone on how they address him.
Very well. So, Bishop Kashrimi, have you encountered him yet?
I have. Very old man, very strange man. Nothing against the Grace, but different than what I'm used to from where I'm from.
He is a very unique individual in our city. Very wise, though, very knowledgeable, and takes his post very seriously, so he can afford to be eccentric.
As long as our leaders remain strong, they remain our leaders. If you'd like to roll perception empathy on that, I'll. Because he's not exactly hiding what he is, but.
I got all 5 successes.
Yeah, that sounds like an ultra conservative to you.
Well, considering I just spent an entire evening going over the Code of Milan with Bishop Kashrimi, I don't necessarily see anything unusual or odd about you stressing or following such statements. So, excuse me. then it sounds like you've totally made yourself at home in our city then. No plans to return to Atlanta?
When I am ordered to leave, or when my evac comes, then shall I go. Not before, not later, but when one of these two conditions meet. Though without the helicopter evac will be more difficult.
Yes, I heard there was a mishap the other day with a helicopter.
Yes, it was shot down by a military-grade unmarked attack helo.
Wow. Yeah, Ivory Tower is not fucking with us, are they?
Them or it's the Society, one of the two. We haven't
Society?
of Leopold.
You think a bunch of witch hunters are behind this?
What better fun for them than to see vampire slay K-Knight?
Well,
And then them mop up the
my
survivors.
my experience with them is they're not really the sit back and wait kind of people. Short lifespans and whatnot. Though I've only encountered really one who is working alone. So,
Short lifespans the mortals may have. But have you not noticed how quickly things develop here in Zuster? It is not years. It is days, weeks, that new things happen here.
that is true. But then we don't know how long such plans have been put into place waiting for the right moment, such as the replacement of an archbishop.
True.
Then
Also,
they
hunters were killed here before.
Oh, that's what hunters do, isn't it? They die.
Yes, they die and blow things up.
Sometimes at the same time, sometimes one before the other.
But it makes more sense that someone is working behind the White Tower than it does them just showing up randomly one night.
Well, we know who works behind the White Tower, don't we? They are the puppets.
True. However, should one of them have woken up, we are in for a very rude war in the coming night.
Yes. Now, I know that they revel in their humanity, but I still find it difficult to imagine food manipulating even the Camarilla.
Not all of the Camarilla follow humanity. Remember, once upon a time, everyone followed roads, and once upon a time there was a great war, when we found out that we were being manipulated by those who sleep.
But even so, that doesn't negate the fact that their food, you're saying their food is manipulating them.
Yes, Hints here, drop-offs there, information sent through dead names.
Hmm.
Looking a gift horse in the mouth is not the way of the White Tower. They are too full of themselves to question where their information comes from.
And you have proof that the society is involved in our city?
Tell me, what would the Camarilla have to do to secure an attack helicopter and keep it hidden inside the city?
Well, they would have to take over the airport, maybe.
And
Put the helicopter in the airport.
there is more. They would have to dominate every pilot, memory wipe every passenger, and they would generally have to keep an untold number of secrets to keep
If you
one of
move it
those
in,
stashed.
if you move it in at night, that reduces how many people you have to get involved with. And if you keep it hidden during the day, that also reduces even more how much you have to keep it in under wraps with. So
But
no, it's
then,
probably not as complicated.
but then when they use it, how many towers must be notified? How many flying planes?
I don't know how many towers and flying planes were notified when your helicopter brought you in.
Several. It was to be a exercise done by the National Guard.
So you're saying because it's more complicated, it makes more sense that the humans were doing it instead of the vampires?
No, I'm saying it's less complicated that the hunters are the ones doing this. The simplest answer as to why all of this is happening so quickly. Because vampires do not move fast. It is not within our nature. Mortals move quickly. Mortals move with haste and undo. They fail to have a care.
I would be very interested should you find anything to support your theories, just as I understand that when the blood speaks to me, people expect more than just my theories. If I find anything that supports your theories, I will let you know as well.
That is most good hearing. Though, if the Camarilla is not with the attack helicopter, then my plan to go and search the various warehouses will be fruitful. We can always use an attack helicopter.
I think we would still have the same difficulties as our counterparts would. Maybe not for somebody on his way back to Atlantic City, but those of us who are wanting to make a permanent go at Zooster.
It could always be sent to other cities that have need for irrational displays of firepower.
All I know is that mortals tend to get a little bit touchy about anything involving aircraft, so aircraft and airports. The fact that the ants are swarming it just it's frustrating.
That's another reason I'm here. I'm here to help alleviate the food problem here. Bring down the cops' vigilance.
Food problem.
It's what I call mortals' food. They are cattle, nothing more. But even cattle can stampede.
That is true. So what is your plan on how to handle that? May I
First,
ask?
we clean up the city.
As I am. Well, I think the mortals are allegedly doing a pretty good job of that themselves. Police force is very much strengthened.
Yes, but if we do it quietly, or make it look like the gangs have killed each other, then the police will tone it down, because that's what they think is killing them. Toning down the cop killing is a necessary thing to do here. If we don't, then the armed forces will show up. And then we will have tanks rolling around and armored vehicle carriers. And 50 caliber machine guns that have tracer rounds.
I think that's unlikely to escalate to that point.
It has
The
happened
kind,
before to other cities.
well, the kind we've done a really good job at PR then that information doesn't get out too much.
The fact that so few killings have been aired on the news should tell you something as well. The cops are scared, and scared people do dumb things.
That they do. That they do. But at any rate, I'll let you get back to your digging. I will keep my eyes open for any cross-wielding psychopaths, and I'll let you know if any cross-wielding psychopaths come after me. And I'll keep my eyes open for a helicopter too.
That makes good hearing. I will be talking to Bishop Simon at some point to get those of you in the Fireflies that are good at remaining unseen in the open to assist me with the search of the warehouses.
Well, I'm pretty much the only one that can do that out in the open. Um, some of the others can do so if they stick to the shadows or create shadows, but I can mingle through the crowds without gathering notice. So
Well then, I am almost finished with my war room, and soon it will be time to put down hardwood and other needful things.
excellent. Well, I can't wait to see the finished result. I'm sure Simon will have some fantastic ideas for interior decorating.
Yes, and it will also do him much good to have a private dance room.
Can I make a suggestion though?
Of course.
And
Speak.
no security cameras in this war room.
That would be most uncouth as well as very dumb. Because we will all be there and our faces will all be seen.
I agree. So I reiterate, no security cameras in this war room.
The only security cameras that I can feasibly think to be there would be the ones looking at the entrances to the building itself. That way no one sneaks in.
The outside of the building probably be an idea, because there is, various other reasons for people to come to the studios. But let's just not have cameras on the inside.
If there are no cameras on the inside, there is no recorded witness that can be used against us.
Exactly. You can make a perception empathy check if you want. Let's see if I'm getting my point across. I'm hinting to you. Oh, you don't. Those are my successes. You got one success. So yeah,
Yeah.
I yeah, there's a bit of a double message with my wording, but I don't know if you're going to be able to pick it up. So I'll let you decide that.
Speak plainly, Brother Seth. Double entendres are not my forte.
um, you're not building the first war room in the city.
No, I'm building the first of 5.
No, there's already a war room in existence in the city.
True. Which I have already thought of. We need be able to move from place to place, never in the same place twice.
Yes. And next time you're there, just see if you can spot the cameras.
I shall do so.
But with that, I'll leave you to your digging.
And I will leave you to go about your priestly mission, as it were.
Yes, that definitely keeps my hands full. If I can only track my pack down. Till we meet again and go searching for Airwolf in the warehouses. You take care.
Go with Cain, brother. Go with Cain. And with that, you see him climb down the ladder and start taking the dirt that he dumped and putting it into sacks.
Okay. And you don't know what direction Seth goes because you just don't see him when you come back up. But he will just wander off into the night. He's not going to be pervy and watch you dig holes. And with that, thank you for watching as the new Templar continues to get to know the different members of the city. And have a good night. May Cain favor you.